What's happening, guys? Aldesha here, and today I want to talk about a magazine from my childhood that, if you're a child from the 70s, you might remember. Scholastic book fairs used to come around. I don't even know why it was called a book fair. I think they had a bookmobile kind of thing that would come through sometimes, but most of the time it was an order form that the teacher would hand out. You would fill out the books or whatever you wanted, and get the money, and you would hand it back to your teacher. They would send it off. Your books and your magazines would come back in a couple of weeks or so. But one staple of every time that happened was Dynamite magazine. Had to get that one. That was the popular magazine of my childhood when I was in elementary school. And this was in the mid-70s. And the second one, if there was a little bit of extra money available, it would be Bananas magazine. In my mind's eye, from my 10-year-old brain, I remembered Dynamite magazine and Bananas magazine would be like the Mad magazine and the Cracked magazine. That's kind of how I separated them in my mind. Dynamite was always better, and but I always remember that both of them were mostly illustrated. There was very few. It was mostly panel comics and things like that, and jokes and humor and things like that. And I think at least one or two serious articles. So I got nostalgic and I bought a couple Bananas magazines on eBay. And as soon as I opened them up, I got one. They're both from '76 and they're back-to-back issues. I didn't realize when I bought them. I bought them from two separate sellers. This is issue 3290, Elton John on the front right there. And this is issue 3291. The $6 Million Man on the cover right there. And like I said, I didn't remember these being really like adult kind of magazines where we'd have articles and things like that, but more animation and comics and things like that. But as soon as I opened it up, there's like full-length articles and things like that. And this is way TLDR for me, man. I don't have the patience to read this anymore. My attention span is not that lengthy anymore. And I mean, you got to invest some serious time. And half the articles are serious about, like this one's about Burt Reynolds, right there. And the other half are about, they're humorous articles. And I noticed I read through a few of these, and the humor is very dry, very tame compared to today's humor, especially humor directed at younger people. It's not the meme kind of humor. This is stuff you actually have to read and think about. But I was going through this, and like I said, there was an article about Burt Reynolds, and in the comic, or in the magazine, you would get a poster, and this one they highlighted Burt Reynolds. And this is kind of a snapshot of how things were back in the 70s. There wasn't a lot of entertainment wasn't geared towards younger people back then as much as it is today. And so this is the poster. I can't remember the movie this is from. It's from 20th Century Fox. But this is the poster they included that was sent out to teens and preteens. It's a poster of Burt Reynolds. I can almost place the movie, but I can't quite. And he's got that John Waters mustache right there. So this very, very dated. This is, you wouldn't see somebody, he must have been in his 40s at least back in the 70s. And you wouldn't see something like this inserted into a magazine directed at young people. Yeah, but in some of the movies they have like this is a Jerry Lewis movie memory quiz, and I don't think very many people. If I was a 10-year-old today, I wouldn't know who Jerry Lewis was. And here's and the art is very dated also. Obviously, it's from the 70s, but like here's an article about Linda Ronstadt, and you can see the artwork there. And this is kind of gives you the impression of the artwork right there. And I was going to go over like some of the cartoons and comics in this, but it's, like I said, it's very dry. I thought it was a lot more animated. in the Elton John edition. It's pretty much the same. They would be funny. The humor here, I get some of it. I mean, even though I know I had the specific issue back in the day because I recognized the poster that came with it. And this was a disco theme poster right there. And you can see some more artwork that's very dated to the 70s, that type of artwork, kind of like Peter Max or Monty Python kind of art. But the disco poster in here caught my attention more than anything. I remember this exact poster, but being a 10-year-old at the time, I didn't look at all the weird and odd details to it. So here's the poster right here. And you got like John Boyega right there. But I mean, this girl is probably around 14 or so. But you've got full-grown men in the poster here. What kind of disco would have that kind of stuff? And the crowd's over here, and this girl's looking off to the side. I don't know what she's looking at. And it looks like there's a 70s rock band playing at a disco. So that looks kind of weird. And some of the expressions these people have on their faces, like this girl here is just enjoying the hell out of life, isn't she? And it kind of looks like a young Shelley Long, kind of right there. And this guy looks like he's holding his imaginary cell phone. You can kind of see that. He's kind of looking at it like somebody would be looking at their cell phone nowadays. But there's full-grown adults and teenagers in this poster, so I thought that was kind of weird. And it didn't even raise an eyebrow when I was young. And I'm pretty sure I had this on my wall too, as bad as this looks. It looks just horrible, actually. Some of the clothes, I mean, this is kind of like dress from like the 20s, the roaring 20s. And you got the other disco kind of clothes in there. So that's what stuck out to me in this poster. It's just kind of weird. But yeah, like even the humor. There's a reprinted cartoon in here from Playboy magazine. You just cracked me up. It's not adult. Oh, here it is right here. Talking about the father talking to the son about learning the curse of the family or the family curse or whatever. But down the bottom it says right down here, reproduced by special permission of Playboy magazine, 1971. So it came out, this comic came out 5 years before this magazine did. So yeah, I thought it was kind of, I mean, some of these movies, Bananas Screen Test, movie trivia. I mean, I recognize these people, but most kids wouldn't know this. And apparently, that's James Earl Jones right there, looking like he's about 60, back in 1976. I had no idea. I mean, they have a Miracle on 34th Street, I believe. Trivia question right there. So I thought that was kind of funny. I mean, even the humor is like real slow and drawn out. I thought I just imagined it was different. I mean, what I remember. There's a great picture of Elton John with his big tooth gap right there. And this looks like Namor with no nipples. I don't know. I remember Bananas magazine as being totally different and more animated, but I guess not. So I'm gonna get a couple Dynamite magazines, a couple issues that I do remember having personally when I was young, and I'll go over those pretty soon here in another video. But yeah, that's Bananas magazine in a nutshell. There's humor in here, but it's real dry and drawn out. And it just wouldn't fly nowadays. I mean, the humor and everything has changed so much over the years. And this is kind of funny. This is their version of The Hustle. If you don't know The Hustle, it was a disco dance back in the 70s. And they actually taught The Hustle in PE class in my junior high, about 77, 78. But theirs is Do the Hassle. And it's just a weird kind of variation, or their version of the hustle. So do the hassle. Yeah, they actually taught the hustle to kids in junior high back in the day, and I can remember that. So yeah, that's it. I thought these were gonna be a lot more animated and light and fun and things like that, but I guess I was wrong. And this disco poster is just too much, man. There's teenagers, there's full-grown adults. What are they trying to say? This guy looks like he's out of some 70s movie right there with truckers and stuff. And this guy, what's he smiling about? Right there. I don't know. I just thought it was funny, but that's it, man. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time in another video. Later.